Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's podcast. It's a great pleasure today to have with us Beth Travers, a textile designer, print designer, who has a great interior lifestyle brand called BOBO1325. Beth, welcome.
Hi.
Oh, it's so great to have you. It's been a while.
It has been a while. Thank you very much.
It has. Yeah, it's so lovely to have you here. Beth, to make a start, could you give us a brief intro of what you're up to and tell us about BOBO1325, your brand?
So BOBO1325 is a multiple award-winning interior design brand.
It is?
Madness, but so cool.
No, it's not. You're very talented.
So that is founded by me, and everything is hand illustrated, hand painted, with a focus on the outside world, biophilia, and little touches of folklore and activism.
Fantastic. All painted by you, all created. Yeah. Do you create things by hand and then transfer them over to digital and enhance them there as well, don't you?
Yes. So everything is hand painted, hand drawn, and then it's scanned in and put together in either Photoshop or Illustrator. It depends what the design looks like and what the feel of it is going to be, like textural wise. I do prefer Photoshop, I'm not going to lie, because I just think you get that. It doesn't flatten it, and you get those paint strokes, and you get, it's just beautiful to work with.
It's a great creative tool. It's good. It really is. Tell us, what inspires your work?
I love to tell stories.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's kind of like, I love the folklore. I love all that. Really, really, it's just been so much inspired by that. But I think the thing that really, really probably inspires the collections, like the main ones, will be things that actually piss me off. Can I say that?
You can, yeah.
So things that actually really enrage me, and things that I think that we should be talking about, like, mental health, plastic pollution, gender equality, climate change. So things that really, really I don't get it. Like things just really, really ugly things, and then kind of create that talking point by creating that story and giving it a voice, and everyone's saying, oh, that's a really nice design. And I'm like, yeah, but this is what it's about.
Yes.
And so it's engaging with that. Like what I really love is I worked on the Cubic Hotel, which is now Yotel in Manchester.
Yeah.
And on their headboards in their bedrooms, they've used one of the designs is to be the sea. And the amount of people that I speak to and say that they've had to have discussions with their children because the children are looking at the design and going, why is that there? Why is that there? And they're teaching them and saying it's pollution. It's not good.
Fantastic conversation pieces, aren't they? They really are.
And I really love that, because I think that there are things that we should talk about and we should highlight and we should engage. And I think design does have function, form and purpose. And I think one of my purposes is kind of go, I can create this, I can do this, it's really, really pretty. But my purpose is to tell you a story. And I think that's...
It works, Beth. It works. It does. It works really, really well. Your stuff's fantastic, and it does stand out, and it's incredibly striking. But makes that bridge really between, as you say, being conversational, but also ambient, and it's easy to live with. You can water it down or ramp it up, can't you, to make a really fantastic statement across multiple surfaces. And I think it's one of the reasons we wanted to talk with you again today. We've known each other a long time, haven't we?
Yes.
In the print space, and you entered the Fespa Awards. Gosh, it feels like last year, but we've all been frozen, haven't we, for 2 or 3? Yeah, it's insane. So I guess it was 2020, and you entered the Fespa Awards, and you won the Fespa Awards for your interior collection. So congratulations, belated congratulations on that. But a very worthy win.
Thank you. It's just genuinely one of my favourite things to ever happen. You know, to be shortlisted, I have this, I think a lot of creatives will understand if they're listening and go, when I say imposter syndrome.
Yes, I think we all have imposter syndrome. Everybody does.
I enter things and I'm just like, whatever, like, I've got no chance. So for me, it's kind of like a validation. In a little sense, it's like, you are good enough and you can do this. But it was the first time that I really believed it with Fespa.
Oh.
I mean, to be like I was the first winner of the Printeriors Award.
You were, a new category. Well done.
So yeah, it's just so special, and to be able to share that with like the Malhotra Group, who are my client for that. They requested an extra reward, so when I go and visit their offices, I see it there.
Great.
And it's like, yeah, it was just such an incredible thing to happen. I do wish I was in Madrid, but COVID had other ideas, and
it did indeed.
I was instead in like a tracksuit in my studio. But it was like still just an incredibly special moment watching that and thinking like, God, I remember like shaking and having goosebumps. I just rang my mum straight away and she cried.
Oh, no, it's really important because, you know, I think as the creative community as well, so often we're in silos, aren't we? Especially people, you know, independent brands as well, who are not just creative, they're also commercial and have a you know, a huge a brand of their own. We can feel very isolated. And I think it's really important that you connect into the community.
Yeah.
Very, very important. Tell us about the project. Tell us about the print technology that you use, the materials, and how you chose your suppliers for that project.
So Layla Lilies was actually one of the best, most straightforward jobs, and I loved it.
Okay.
It was just like one of those magical, rare jobs where everything comes together and it's just beautiful. So yeah, I supplied the upholstery fabrics, and the linen curtains, and the lampshade fabric and stuff like that. So that was all printed in the Northwest.
Okay.
Because for me, I think the textile industry needs to do a bit more sustainability wise and cut their carbon footprint. So keeping things local is kind of, it's a small step, but small steps are better than standing still and better than going backwards.
Absolutely.
So they were all printed by Dye Sublimation in the Northwest, and then they went off to, I think it was, 3 upholsterers in the UK.
Great.
Right about the north, and they were all north based because the job was in the north.
Yeah.
So that was really straightforward, really, really good. Dye stuff, what a great way to print. Like it's just beautiful the way that you can get so much detail when you print. And I have, because I now have the Epson in my studio.
You do, don't you? Is that working well for sampling?
Oh my God, it's the best.
Really?
So after Fespa, your print specialists, in the Northeast, I went and visited them, and they gifted me the and it's just changed my whole way I work. It's just so good. It's amazing.
Do you love it? I would imagine you love it because it's tactile, so that you can take your digital stuff and it's instantly onto a textile, and you get a feel for whether you like the colour, the feel, the scale. Is that how you're using it?
That's how I'm using it. And then obviously I can now do glassware and ceramic tiles and stuff like that. So just massive. It's such a great piece of kit. I love it. I called it Hank and Priscilla. So yeah, we are besties.
Oh, that's fantastic. Because of course, you know, what a lot of people don't kind of realise about the interior space is that, you know, it is subject to a lot of specification, isn't it? So when, you know, you talk about your fabrics, I would think, you know, finding the right supplier and finding the right substrate with the right kind of martindale and also the right fire retardancy specifications is really important for your brand.
It's just really great as well, because if a supplier says to me like, Beth, can I have a sample of this? if I don't have one in stock, I can print it.
Amazing.
And I can print it, have it out, and then it's keeping that chain going, especially because specification changes so quickly, and it's kind of like 1 minute you're doing the whole emails and going, oh, quote me for this, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then all of a sudden it's like, this is the order, this is when we need it, this is where it's going. Yeah. And you're just kind of like, okay, let's go.
Fantastic. But sampling has always been, and remains, Beth, a huge problem for the creative community. Because at the end of the day, the printer doesn't really want to do you a 0.5 metre sample or break it up with a load of different swatches into a 1 metre or 2 metre sample. You know, it's not cost effective for them. So they'll never be a priority, really. And you know, some of the most proactive companies will give you a week turnaround or even a few day turnaround, but you're still not in control of it as the creative, are you? Just at the whim of somebody else's ink settings and colour management settings as opposed to your own. So it must be fantastic to be able to do that in-house.
It is. It's so good. It's so speedy, and it's just such a really good piece of equipment to play with and experiment with, because it is about experimentation. It's playing, it's seeing what you can do, it's seeing how far you can push and what surfaces you can push on. Yeah. And it's just really, really great for that. And I am really lucky to have that. I am really lucky to have the relationship that I do with your print specialists, because I'm kind of just like, if ever I have a problem, I just call them up and they know everything. They are like my gurus.
Yeah. No, it's great. You've got to shorten that learning curve, haven't you? Yeah. And I think what you're saying is that the supplier relationship for the creative is so important.
It's integral. It's so, like, I can't stress enough how important it is to find suppliers that you trust.
Yeah.
But also that you like.
Yes. No, that's really important.
Yes. It's kind of like, right. But they also have to like you. Like, you have to build that relationship. You have to spend time, like, go visit, go speak to them, send them emails, ask them how they are. Because, you know, sometimes these people are going to have to pull you out the dirt. If you're in trouble and you've got something and you've done something wrong, or, you know, something's really, really quick turnaround, you've got to lean on them. And but I think I'm really lucky. I've got some really, really good suppliers that I kind of ring. I'm like, help me. And
it is. It's all part of that personal relationship, and it's about balance, isn't it? Give and take, and trust, I think, as well. And also not being, I think sometimes the creative can be labelled as a bit of a diva. And I think we have to, you know, you have always been very commercial about your decisions and understanding the limitations of perhaps the print process or the substrate or the timing and costings and things like that, really. So, yeah, congrats, Beth. It's so fantastic. So do you think winning award, and the Fespa Award isn't the only award you've won, isn't it? So can you just give us a quick rundown of that? Didn't you win the Northern Design Awards as well?
I did.
I won that once, many years. I won that in 2012. Yeah, a long time ago now.
Yeah, I got that. I didn't think I'd get that either. So I was on stage really trying to hugging the award giver.
Why not?
Oh my God. But no, it's just like, I don't even have words for it, because I'm just kind of like, I'm just one, in my head, I'm just like, I'm just one person. I see all these incredible companies and I'm like, wow, like I'm included amongst these people.
Yeah.
Like this year I was on the Brit list, short list. I was kind of just like, I'm up there with like Gresham and things like that. I'm just like, this is just insane, because these people, if like, they make so many ripples. But if you dropped me in like a little pond, I would just be like a plop. And so it's just like,
I think that's one of the great things about digital printing, though, isn't it? It has democratized the sector. And you know, if you are creative, driven, and have a commercial mind, you can build your own brand and supply at much smaller scale. So it puts you on a level with those other people. In fact, sometimes, you know what, Beth, I think it makes you more interesting, because you're totally in control. Yeah.
I definitely get away with a lot more.
Yeah.
So there is freedom in that, and it's really good. But yeah, it's just mad to me. Like sometimes, like half the time I spend time thinking like, I just don't belong in this room with these people. Like, what am I doing? It's kind of like I'm on the outside looking in.
Yeah.
And I'm just, I just can't believe that this is where I am and this is what I'm doing. So yeah, like the Fespa is like my favourite. I'm not gonna lie. It was my first award. It was the first thing that I kind of felt that wow.
Yeah.
And Layla Lilies is such a good project. It's in Newcastle. I'm from Sunderland, and even though we're like Derby Day enemy, it's just like, you know, it's home.
Yeah.
So I love that, and I love being able to take my mum, and I love being able to take my gran, and just like every year I get them a restaurant voucher for Lily.
Oh, that's fantastic though. That really is so good. But it's an absolutely beautiful project. And I think, you know, whenever you create an interior, there are so many touch points within it. No one person can do it. And I think, you know, from the way that you work, you become integral to the creation of that whole space as well, which is so important because it's your vision, isn't it? It's their interior scheme, but your designs and your patterns and prints add that wow factor with the right specification.
Because it's kind of like, it's something that started off in your head.
Yes.
You know, it's not something that's built. It's not something the starting point of that was in your mind. And
amazing. But you know, your creation is bringing, you know, pleasure to thousands of people that visit those hospitality interiors every day. It makes it.
To Motley quite a lot. I go and have meetings there because there's no point in taking like samples, because I just take them all to Motley now, because it's got my upholstery fabrics, it's got my wallpapers, it's got rugs, it's got tiles. Yeah. And I'm kind of just like, that's a really, really special project, because it was just like, it's in Manchester and it is on such a large scale. Yeah. And I was just like, I was getting these orders, and it was during the height of lockdown, and like we were at stage 4, so we couldn't postpone, we couldn't turn back. It was, we were well on our way. And so in that respect, it was such a blessing, because it kept me busy. Yes. And I just kept getting these orders for the fabric, and getting these orders, and like sending the print files off to Textile or Vescom. No, I think it was Vescom who did the printing for that. Yeah. And thinking, and I just didn't really think about how big it was going to be. Like, it didn't register how it was going to look. And then I was with the rug company, and we were stuck. Where were we? This is really fun. We were at a service station off the side of a motorway. Yeah. This pom box picking colours for this.
Oh, I love those boxes.
Yeah. Oh, I don't.
Gosh, if anybody doesn't know what those are, they are like what you call them, they're the colour charts for the weave for the weaves, aren't they? Yeah. And they are just absolute beautiful boxes of colour, and you can pick them all out. They're actually so inspiring. I've used those on storyboards for years. They're beautiful. They're so good. I personally don't want to see another one in my life, because I'm trying to break down my designs and going this. But it's fantastic. You can't register it all. And then when the interior designer said, "Why don't you come down?" And I was kind of like, "Okay, sure, come." Blah blah. Skip that for a bit, and I was thinking, "Oh, wall here, wall there," and I just walked in. I just cried, because I was just like, "This is just beyond anything." Wow. I could have ever imagined. Like, it is floor to ceiling me, and it's just like walking inside my head, and I'm just like, that's so good, isn't it? So good when it all turns out like that. It's brilliant. Bottle the feeling of how it feels. But it's fantastic. You've had the opportunity to work with it throughout the whole project, instead of, you know, so often designers never see any of that, do they? They just, somebody picks up your pattern or print at a show or online digitally, however it is, and it's sold, and then its journey beyond that is completely out of your control. I think that's so lovely, is that you're learning the whole time, really, aren't you, within that project? And because you're close to your suppliers, it's allowing you to push the boundaries of print as well, to create more, just to push the boundaries of interiors as well, which kind of leads me nicely onto our next question, really. How has BOBO1325 developed over the last couple of years? You've added more products, haven't you? Yeah. So obviously with
with the pandemic, I kind of had to sit back and go, okay, how do we get through this?
Yep.
Because working so closely with hospitality and seeing the trouble that they were in, the support that they needed and didn't necessarily get, I don't think.
Yeah.
And then you have the cost of living crisis with the energy now.
Yeah.
It's kind of just been like, right, okay, how do I get through this?
Yeah.
How do I survive? And so I kind of thought about, I know I neglected the residential a little bit. So it was turning my focus more to residential.
Yep.
And other products that I believe in. I don't believe in bringing out products that are just because I can. Like,
yeah.
I don't want to do that. That's not who I am. I don't want to do that. I don't want to add things that are just going to go to landfill or people are going to have for a little bit then chuck out. And when we were locked down, I felt in a cage. I'm sure everybody felt like they were in a cage.
Yeah.
And mentally, that just it took its toll. Like, I really, really struggled.
Yeah.
Like, I was calling my mum and I was just like, I can't, like, I just don't know what to do. Like, I need to get out. I need to do something. And for me, gym and swimming has always been so integral. Like, it gives me inspiration. It makes me feel good. It's that release at the end of the day. And I couldn't do it. So I started doing like at-home workouts in my bedroom, and I thought about the wellness side and the health benefits.
Yes.
And slowly I could feel myself getting better because I couldn't pick up a paintbrush. I had all this time, and the last thing I wanted to do was create. I couldn't.
Yeah, it's creative block, isn't it? I know exactly what you mean. You want to start, but you have no idea where to start, and it's just it's a wall.
Yeah, so I brought out. I started focusing on like wellness side and health and fitness side, and it's something that I really believe in because it's how I know how it makes me feel. So I brought out exercise mats, and I love them. I go
fantastic,
and I just love them, and they're great for. They're made on sustainable rubber mats, so they're like recycled cork. They're just bigging myself up a little bit. They're just great.
They are great. They're great, and they're all kind of they're upsells, aren't they? As well, really, it's really good to have those as you move towards like evolving the business from B2B to B2C too, isn't it? Really. So you have a website, and people can purchase these online now.
So they're on my website. You can purchase them through Instagram shop. You can purchase them through the Facebook shop. And it's just really nice because I'm seeing people actually send me like pictures of themselves working out on my mat, and they're like, I feel great. And I'm like, that's incredible because I want you to feel great. And especially this time of year, I think like this time of year, everyone's so busy with the new year, new me. And I hate that phrase. I think it's such a commercial, horrific phrase that is just designed to make people feel bad about themselves. Yeah. But, a lot of people do choose at the beginning of the year to
freshly start,
to make those starts and to do things. And so it's been so nice seeing people tag me in things and like send me pictures and saying I can't wait to start, I can't wait to go to the gym. And like when I take mine to the gym, and I've got people going, where did you get that? And so now I'm seeing people at the gym and they've got mats, and I'm kind of just like,
oh, it's great. It's also important to get closer to your customers as well, isn't it, really? Get that feedback. I think that, brings you out the silo again as well, really. We all need those interactions. And I think we learned that from lockdown, actually, how much we needed them, but we took them for granted, really.
What I've had so far is that people are really much happier to take their own mat because, if people, I think COVID taught us to be a bit more conscious and a bit more aware of germs and stuff like that.
Definitely.
If you're using a gym mat that's been at the gym, you don't know if the person before you's cleaned it. You don't know. Like, if you don't clean it up, like there's so much. I'm sure they're very clean. I am. You're putting kind of like you don't know thingy. So when you take your own mat, you're in control of that.
Definitely. And they're all great ways to do print on demand for you too, really. You don't have to hold massive stocks.
No.
And it's fantastic for the emerging designer or an established brand like yourself, just to add them as well, really, and test the marketplace, really do some market.
Tested the market, like online with these, and now we're going to see about getting them into some stores. So
that would be fantastic. Yeah, get into retail.
So yeah.
That's good to you. Good for you. Beth, I think you've spoken about your projects, and I think, you know, is which would you definitely define as your favourite one, or perhaps it's not fair to do that, really, is it? It's probably not fair. Are there any other projects you'd like to just talk about quickly that were challenging, or that you could bring new materials in?
I think my favourites, is Layla Lilies, and I think from winning that award, the relationship that I now have with the client, I work on all their projects.
Fantastic.
And that's extraordinary. And we have a bespoke one coming. So
another one, good.
That is what I'm working on right now. And it's
great.
I love bespoke. Obviously, and I love Yotel and Motley just because there's so much of me. It's like a city like Manchester has that one spot that's just but I think there's one opening in January which is a bespoke project, and it was for a restaurant, and the client was such a good client, actually, like really amazing. He was just like, I don't want you in handcuffs, I want you to do whatever you want to do.
Great.
But it has to kind of have influences of my culture.
Okay. And
that was a struggle. I'm so proud of that design, actually. I love it. I can't wait to share it, and I can't wait for it to open so I can share it.
Brilliant.
But that was a challenge, and that's what's beautiful about bespoke. It is a challenge. Yeah. And I love that, and it's really, really good. But it was just, at the time, it was kind of like, I don't want to upset someone's culture. I don't know how to represent.
Oh, in case you caused offence by what you put forward. Yeah, I get that. Yeah,
it's just like, oh my goodness, how do I do this? So I found a Persian cafe in Chorlton. And I went and had coffee, and I was just, I think and at first I just sat there and having coffee, and I didn't speak to anyone. And then they saw me coming, a couple of them, they're like, hi, how are you? And I was like, okay, the water's broken. And I was like, right, this. And I was talking to them about it.
That's great. Yes, did your research.
And that's what's so important, though, like with every project and every job, is do your research, you know?
Yes.
Because you want to do it right. You want to represent you the best that you can do. But if you're representing a client as well, you're representing them.
But you want to reach, as a creative as well, I think you always seek, what's the word? Recognition, but also you want everybody to be happy. So it's really important that you meet everybody's expectations. And as a creative, if you don't, creatives don't just walk away and go, oh, well, you feel that forever, don't you? You'll be unhappy with that design forever because your client wasn't happy, or the final scheme just will never meet your expectation of perfection because you didn't give it your whole, content.
I think what people don't realize is how much you give of yourself to what you create.
Absolutely right. Nobody ever gets that outside the creative world.
Vulnerable when you are creating, because you have to open yourself up so much. Yeah. And I think people don't really understand like the toll it takes mentally and that vulnerability, because so that was a challenge, and I was just like, I don't know where to begin. I really don't know where to begin. And then I spoke with the guys, and I was just like, right. And because I'm such a little scholar, I love to learn, and I love to, knowledge makes me giddy. Like, I'm just like, okay, I've just had books upon books upon books. Yeah. So I read like all these books, and I went for Persian folklore. And so I went for Persian folklore and all the botanicals and elements within the design, like flora. They're all used in Persian cuisine or grown in Persia. So everything kind of links back and is integral to the story. It's not there just because, it's because it has purpose. And I can't wait.
That's brilliant. When's the launch due?
January, I believe. End of January, early February.
Fantastic. Okay, brilliant. That's great. Are you going to enter that one into the Fespa Awards this year, though?
I am.
Oh, look forward. Yeah, I think the deadline's the 23rd, 24th of, or maybe it's the 28th of January, but it's towards the end of January. We'll make sure we do a little headline on that.
If it's open, I will absolutely 100% be entering.
Fantastic. Brilliant. That's so good. Beth, can we touch on market trends? How has the interior industry changed? And how have you, well, I think we've spoken about how you've adapted BOBO1325, but how has the industry changed over the last few years post-lockdown? Is there a lot more going on in hospitality, or is it still very difficult?
It's drips and drabs. There is a lot going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot slower.
Okay.
Because I think everyone's kind of taking their time, taking their steps, getting things in place.
Yeah.
And I think because costs are the way they are.
Yeah.
And I think everything's just soared. So I think everyone's just kind of taking their time and it's on tenterhooks, but there's a lot happening. There is so much happening, like especially, in Manchester, there is so much going on. In the Northeast, there is a lot going on. London. Great. So yeah, it's just getting it's getting there. But
do you think people are more considered about their purchases as well? Do you think they are actively looking for greener solutions, more sustainable materials to use?
I know I am.
Good. I know. I'm sure you are.
I'm demanding that. So, my printers now have a recycled velvet that is FR without using halogen, which I love.
Oh, perfect.
But I think we'll all agree that, the textile industry and the interiors industry, especially with upholstery, it needs to do more.
It does, and faster.
It needs to do a lot more. At the minute, I'm obsessed with C-cell smart fibers. Really obsessed with those. Seeing them emerging in fashion with Patagonia and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's made from seaweed and wood cellulose, so it is low resource, 100% biodegradable.
Yep.
There's no chemicals released in the waste. And it's just kind of I want to see, if fashion are doing it, I want to see the interiors take steps like that. I want to see upholstery take steps like that. So, can something like C-cell from those raw materials transcend into interiors? Because the recycled velvets, they're amazing and they're a step. And I think every step is important, but there's still so much wastage with that. It's still polyester. It's still just the water wastage and the chemicals. They still take their toll. So yeah, I
think it's always about supply and demand, isn't it, really, as well? And I think it's about having a volume, a cooperative of people choosing the right fibres so that we can make sure that they do get woven and they end up out there in commercial use, or getting access to the companies who are loom state, who are building huge stocks and reserves of these things, but for their own use. I think we need to start to be a lot more collaborative. And also I think we have to be a little patient. I know it's impossible because the planet is not in a position to be patient. We're already too late on so many things, but we have to wait for the industry to develop, to take fabrics quite often from the fashion industry on a volume basis, and then increase the weights of those fabrics, the GSMs of those fabrics, so that they can be used in the interior world too at the right volumes. So it is always a supply and demand issue, but there's no question that sustainability is driving it forward now. That's what people are looking for, and it's great that that's happening.
Brilliant. But I think you hit the nail on the head when you said that it needs to be more collaborative.
Yeah.
cross platforms,
Yeah.
cross
Yeah.
industries,
Yeah.
and like share your knowledge. And I think that's how we do it.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah.
that's how we make change. And I'm excited because
It's weird, really, isn't it? It's like going back to the 1950s in many ways, but with a digital format, you know, where honour and trust were all part of the commercial frame. We kind of lost that for 20 years, I think. But we now have to, you know, especially when you look at print on demand and things like that, because people have to now think about booking space with their printer and not just expecting them to jump, you know, when they were asked to jump, you know, the reverse is how high. So I think we do have to get much, much more collaborative and much more trustworthy, cooperate more with everybody.
Yeah.
And share knowledge.
I think patience and learning to wait is key. Like, I'm okay with my lead times being a bit longer if that means we have a more sustainable process. I'm fine with that, rather than the whole print on demand. I think we got like fashion. I think it was very fast, very messy. And I think we just take that, while taking steps forward, we take steps back and go, okay, let's take our time. And it's okay. Like, not everything has to be yesterday.
Definitely, definitely. Speaking of yesterday, when we used to have to buy everything off the shelf and on stock, there really wasn't much choice in the interior world, was there? It was all a land of pattern books, really, and millions of meters printed from which you could choose. But things have changed. You're definitely driving the trends within customised interiors. How do you see that changing? Do you think that's here forever? Do you think bespoke in the interior world is here forever and will continue to develop?
Yeah. Do you know what I think people do? I think people want that personalised space, and people want that personalised touch, something that calls to them and resonates with them.
Yep.
And I think that's what's really, really beautiful about what we do. It's that different people and what they feel and how they view the world and how they want their space. Different signs call, like, just it's for them.
I think you're more likely to keep it longer as well, aren't you?
You are.
Definitely.
And I think that's what's really great about interiors, is that they're more thought about. Like, your favourite dress is only your favourite dress for a season, and then you kind of like take it to a charity shop or hit ASOS in the sale or whatever.
Yeah.
But your interiors, they're designed for you on a much more holistic level. And
correctly,
down to like the paint you choose and the colour scheme that you go for and how that makes you feel. Like, I think people are kind of going, how does this, like, colour is so important, it's powerful. And you know, I've because of material source, I spend a lot of time with brown paints. Yeah. And they taught me about like colour psychology. So and which is something that I've always considered, but not as deeply as I do now. So when I design, it's kind of like, what is this design saying? Like, on a subconscious level, not what I'm wanting to put out, but on subconsciously, how does this make you feel? How do the colors make you feel? Do they calm you? Do they make you feel like energized? And I think that's what's really, really great about interiors.
It's a whole science, isn't it? It's a whole science that of how, you know, a colour affects your health. Subconsciously, you've got no idea that that's what's going on, but your interior really impacts your lifestyle and your life balance. And I think post-lockdown, more people are, you know, people used to think that was a bit, no, but I think and would frown on that kind of, I don't know how to describe that really, but I think people are much more focused and on the relevancy of the style and the design and the health benefits, the wellness benefits of everything. Having been locked in our interiors for 2 years, I think we all kind of started to have the time to look round and go, it's
a
whole science.
All the grey go. The grey's been going, and in come the mustards and the greens, and you're like, yes.
You're right.
You'll feel so much better for it.
Yeah,
and
true.
then, like, you see all the biophilic elements coming in, and kind of like looking at plants and going, does this plant help me sleep? Does this plant make me calm? Does this plant clean the air? Yeah. And it's just, it is. It's such a science that I think people look at it and think, oh, wow, that's pretty. But then they don't see the whole
Yeah.
concept and the whole process behind every step and every thought.
I think that's true that we kind of touched on that before, but they don't consider the creative journey or what a good design. I mean, you know, there's good and bad designers as well, I guess, but a really great commercial designer actually thinks about all of those nuances of colour, handle, texture, feel, scale, longevity, circular. All of those things are going into your design process. You know, designers are incredibly powerful when they use that power correctly at the beginning of the journey. They consider all of the impacts of all the way through to the very, very end. And you definitely do that very, very well, Beth. So congratulations. So tell us, what's on the boiler for BOBO1325 for 2023? You set yourself some goals?
I have. I want to do...
Okay.
Well, I haven't. Well, I have, but I haven't. The goals are kind of like, you know, secret little goals. So they're going to stay squirreled away. But... the bespoke books are open next week, but I have 2 bespoke jobs coming up, which is really great because the client was kind of like, write the brief, then just show it to me. And I was like, and it's so good, isn't it? Because you kind of just
fantastic.
Like, where am I going to go with this?
You deserve those jobs every now and again. Definitely.
So it helps that the client is the same client from Layla Lilies, so he knows me.
They trust you, yeah.
I'm just so excited about that job. It's in Newcastle. And
lovely.
We're going to be telling a history of Newcastle that hasn't been told before.
Oh.
So, yeah, I went deep into my research and I was kind of like, right, well, I don't want to do the bridge. I don't want to do the Angel of the North.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with those, by the way.
No. But
so many designs that are so like beautiful and just very iconic. But it's just, I like to be different. I like
take a fresh perspective.
I like to take a different path than others. So, yeah, we're going to tell like a really cool story, which I'm excited about. And then the bespoke books open next week. So hopefully, well, not hopefully, I already know there's a few things on the boards there.
What's the bespoke books, Beth?
I open bespoke books. It's not really a book. It's kind of like I open a window. And it's kind of like it's open for 6 weeks. Yeah. People who need bespoke jobs doing, book in their slot. Because basically...
Fantastic.
I don't want to say... I can't say yes to everything. I'm just one person. And I don't want to take away anything from any job. I want to give 100% to every job. I want to give them the research. I want to give them my time. I want to give them 100% of me. Yeah. So I open them twice a year so that I'm able to do that.
That's a fantastic idea. That really is.
It's so good mentally, and it's so good. You give the best of yourself. You don't burn out, but you give the client everything. And it's like you're not feeling rushed. You're not kind of going, I've taken on too much. Yeah. There's no greed in there, Beth, is there? You know, you have a certain amount of energy, creative time, etc., and you work alone. So, you know, I suppose in the future you can outsource your admin and all the other bits and pieces. But when this is kind of goes back to your point and actually shows that point really of how much a creative puts into that piece of art that then becomes a material produced in mass or on bespoke. There's only so much energy, creative energy, that the artist can have, really. And you already work 24/7 because you're always switched on. You're always thinking about everything. So you can't make your day longer. No. So that's a fantastic way to work, Beth. And I'm sure that's why your clients trust you as well. Oh, thank you.
Definitely.
It's great. It's really, really great because you can't be all, you can't do all. And when you do bespoke, you're selling something that doesn't exist. Yeah. So you're having to convince a client of something that does not exist anywhere but your head, and you're having to say, but it's worth it. Yes. And that is a scary and daunting thing. You're sat there with these boards and this story that you want to tell, and you want to say, this is what I put together. This is how it's going to look, but it doesn't exist yet. Yeah. It's here.
It's your vision.
And I think it's really, really great. And I think that's really exciting, but it is really vulnerable. And you costed it. You're like saying, I work 9 till 5. You don't work 9 till 5.
No.
You work like 9 or 8 or like
Forever.
Whenever.
You do, because you're inspired 24/7 wherever you are as a creative, and whatever you're doing. You're computing, aren't you?
Yeah. So they're open, and then I'm going to launch my murals, which have been
what you're doing?
coming. But I just want to tell stories.
Great.
Really large scale stories that, you know, don't have a repeat, don't have that freedom to just really go big. That's
going big is a great idea, I think, Beth. I also think your work is so intricate that when you do blow the scale up, so I guess you're going to create them at A3 or whatever, and then or even bigger maybe, and then you're going to blow them up in the scale, but create them really fine. So you get lots of detail. Yeah, your work would look amazing like that, because all of the beautiful line marks and all the tone and the graduated tone, you'll see more of it in larger patches. Oh, really look forward to seeing those. You're going to play with different substrates.
Really excited about them.
Yeah. So what kind of materials are you going to print onto? Have you kind of started thinking about that yet?
I haven't started thinking about that. So obviously it's going to be wallpapers.
Yeah.
But I thought about doing fabric panels.
Yeah.
Fabric panels that don't repeat.
Yeah.
So that you could have like a large wingback chair or something with just this gradient. And
yeah, lovely. There are some really great wall coverings around now with beautiful suede and velvet touch and all of that. A lot of them you've probably come across.
The cork and the grass.
Yes. Yeah.
My supplier, John Mark.
Yeah. Oh, that's great, because that's good.
John Mark.
No, John Mark's, it's great you're working with John Mark, because especially when you're printing on cork, you've got a coloured surface where he's got the white, he's got the latex with the white, so you can put it underneath and you can build colour. Beth, you're going to have so much fun.
They're incredible. Like Matt keeps sending me things. Yeah. Do this. I'm like, save it. Don't tell everyone. Just they're really, really great. Love them.
Oh, they're so innovative. You're going to have so much fun with them. That's fantastic. It's brilliant. Beth, we're running over a little bit. Last question. You're such an inspiration for the creative community. You are, because you are, because you tell Beth, because you tell it how it is. You know, we're all not perfect humans, in that, you know, as you said, you know, imposter syndrome and a million things like that. We all have to be more aware and be more truthful. And, you know, you have shared your journey, and it's so lovely to hear that, you know, sometimes it's great, sometimes it isn't. All commercial life has ups and downs, but we can't stay on the top all the time. We have to bob and keep adapting and keep moving. So what would your advice be to a young creative, somebody who's kind of moving out from university, perhaps has a little bit of commercial experience? What would your words of wisdom be for them?
I don't know if I have wisdom. This is the one that I really...
you do, see?
No. This is the one that...
Imposter syndrome again.
This is the one that I really, really thought about.
Yeah.
And I think it's not wisdom. It's the thing that I tell myself every day.
Yeah.
And it's, don't let fear be the thing that holds you back. Let it be the thing that drives you.
Yeah.
And you have to be odd to be number one.
Yeah. Odd.
Embrace it. Like if you are in the world and you think that I'm different, I don't fit in, good. You're on the right path.
That's great. Oh, that's brilliant. Beth, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure. Look forward to seeing Please do make sure you enter the awards. I look forward to looking at those too. It's fantastic, brilliant. Good luck with brand. You're doing really well. Can't wait to see all your latest creations. It's so exciting. And what I love about your work is that you really are using the best of digital to push boundaries for your creativity. You're pushing it, and that's a wonderful thing to watch, to be honest. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.